The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by NYRA Bets. Bet the Kentucky Derby by using the code SGPN25 for $25 free bet plus a $200 deposit match bonus at nyrabets.com. So SGPN25 and start winning today. And welcome everybody to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is currently Friday afternoon, May 2nd, around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm host episode Scott Reichel, joined again by Dylan Rockford together to break down all 15 games for the Saturday card. Check the actual, I'd say, lines before the show. We're missing 2 games, so we do have 13 out of the 15, not too bad. Apologies, by the way, for the intro music, but we decided to gamble. We keep switching things up. That said classical. That was not classical. That was just an absolute lie. But either way, it's fine. Dylan, how's it going with you? How have you enjoyed your Thursday so far, or Friday?
I'm good. Thank God it's Friday. Absolutely gutted and just so upset that was the music that I picked out.
It's fine. It's all good.
Breaking the fourth wall, Scott asked me what I wanted. I was like, hey, why don't we start classical?
The thing is,
today?
It's all AI generated, so I believe it changes every time, but that was false advertising. That's really what that was.
It let me down so much. As soon as you did, I was like, oh, it's too late to change it. But yeah, we apologize for that, Milan.
It's fine. It's all good. We'll just remember that I can't even delete the classical from here. I'll just remember as a mental tab to not pick that one in the future. But Dylan, how's it going with you? How do you enjoy your Thursday bets? How's your Friday going? What's up?
Well, I was off to a nice 7-0 start Tuesday and Wednesday. Yesterday, tough one, 1-4. Mets started to regress a little bit. As soon as we started to give them a little praise on the show, they stunk it up.
Gallon kind of shoved. And,
that curveball yesterday was fantastic. But outside of that, everything's been all right. Looking for a bounce back day today. Didn't love the card here for Friday. Only have 2 plays that I posted. But outside of that, everything's been all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, fine. Can't really complain too much. I know the last episode wasn't too great. I had the under in the Royals game, and unfortunately the Rays bullpen with Baz also kind of fell apart there at the end of the start. I also ended up having the Giants, and the Giants basically fell apart in the last couple innings. A nice win for the Rockies. Don't look now.
Yeah.
The Rockies actually won a game. So we'll see what happens. But either way, not the best episode for me for the Thursday games. Hopefully Friday's better. We'll see. As you said before, not exactly the best card, but hopefully it works out in our favor. Anyway, moving on to, I'd say, other business. We do have the games coming up on Saturday. I'll ask you, though, Dylan, anything else you want to talk about just across the league, or should we just move on into the games?
Nothing really caught my eye for MLB, but I mean, after you and I had the podcast, I think it was Wednesday, my team was finally able to close one out. So good news there.
That is true. Congrats, by the way, for advancing to the second round of the NBA playoffs. NHL, your team tried their best.
They tried. They won a game. They won a game.
They went to double overtime. You had no Hughes. You had no chance. It just is what it is. But either way, a point is nice win for the Knicks, and we'll see how they do against the Celtics. Probably it's not going to go too well, but who cares? At least you're in the second round. All that matters. Anyway, before we get into any of the games for the Saturday card, a reminder that you can help the shows grow on the SGPN platform by subscribing to the YouTube channels, not just this channel, but for the other shows on the network. You can also leave a 5-star rating and a review on Spotify and Apple. Moving on, though, to the games here for the Saturday card. First game is going to be between the Rays and the Yankees. For this game, you have Littell against Schmidt. For the over-under and for the money lines, I see the Yankees a minus 180, basically. I see the Rays at plus 150 and the over-unders at 9.5. Now, 9.5 first glance is a massive total for a Rays game. Then again, both pitchers have not been very good this season. Littell is a 5.03 ERA. Schmidt, who showed up late after injury, has not been good. 5.52 ERA. I find the total very high for a Rays game, but I do understand it. I still think minus 180 is massive when Schmidt has not been good and he has not gone distance. So I'll go with the Rays with a spin here. I just feel like if you want to go for the Rays team total over, maybe, that's worth something. But I just feel like this price is a bit too big for Schmidt, who has really not shown much so far this season. I think his upside might be higher than Littell, but he hasn't shown it yet. And I think this price is too big. So I'll go with Tampa, maybe a team total, but I do think there might be value on the money line.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the number is a little too big. My numbers only made the Yankees a minus 165 favorite. Minus 180 is getting up there a little bit. I do think this is a good spot for the Yankees at home. They are better at home, 10-5 straight up. Rays struggle. They are struggling as of late. They just got swept by the Royals, whose offense, not good, but watch out for the Royals. Hottest team right now, 9-1, I think. And now they have to travel, play the Yankees, who their offense has been great. I mean, Aaron Judge has been fantastic. They're averaging 6.4 runs at home this year. And Zach Little, or Lita, or whatever you pronounce it, he hasn't been good for the Rays either. Over a 5 ERA. He's given up 2+ runs in all 3 starts. And the Rays are 1-5 straight up in his 6 starts. So I don't know. Judge, Goldschmidt, the offense has been producing right now. It's hard for me to not back the Yankees here in this spot. Now I agree the line is a little too big. Maybe you said the Rays team total, maybe the Yankees team total here as well.
Yeah, it could be. But once again, I just feel like with Schmidt's lack of impressive performances this season, it does feel a bit steep. Not to mention the fact that Judge is having like an insane start to the season, and the Yankees are like 4 or 5 over, and Judge has been the best player in the league by basically a mile at the plate, and nobody else has done anything for this team. Goldschmidt's been good, which has been definitely nice to see. Volpe's been a mess. Jazz is just not very good. I've been anti-Jazz for a long time. But once again, it feels like Judge is kind of on an island out there by himself more often than not, which does kind of limit my enthusiasm regarding the lineup.
Are you a Ben Rice guy?
Rice has been good too. I forgot to mention Rice. I think he's fine. I do think that it's kind of an issue to run into with younger players. Sometimes when they show up and have a phenomenal early start to the season, you see some regression. Once pitchers make some adjustments, they start game planning for you a bit more thoroughly. Ben Rice, from what I remember, is not exactly great at hitting off-speed pitches. He's a solid fastball hitter, but it does seem like his numbers kind of plummet against off-speed pitching. So I do wonder how pitchers are going to adjust facing him. I think Rice is fine. I think he's been good this season. But I do think, once again, he might have been overachieving up to this point, and I'm picking a little bit of regression. It might balance out, though, because Volpe's been horrible, and I think he's better than that. So it might end up balancing out in different parts of the order. But Rice has been good. It's a good point by you. Definitely been solid. Bellinger has been a bit underwhelming so far. We'll see when he picks it up. Also, once again, Wells has been okay, but it feels like Judge is kind of carrying.
My friends who are Yankee fans, they hate Volpe. Yeah, he could play the field, but
he's been terrible this season.
He just can't hit to save his life.
Yeah, right now he can. I think that, once again, he can be better than what he's shown, and he has been a pretty streaky hitter over the course of his career. But him and Jazz batting back-to-back made me lose my mind for a couple weeks there. I just couldn't handle it. It was just guaranteed strikeout, and then occasionally Jazz hit a home run, and that was the saving grace, I guess. But it's been a bit of a mess there at the bottom of the lineup. Moving on to the next game. You have the Astros taking on the White Sox. For this game, you have Brown against Martin. For the actual pricing, Houston is about -250. You have the White Sox at +205. The over-under is at 8. If you want the run line with Brown, you can find that at about -130, which I see is the best number. I will go with that. I'm not going to go against Hunter Brown, who is one of the Cy Young favorites right now. He's been fantastic all season. He's been consistent. He's just been absolute nails. Martin's been okay, but not great. And the White Sox, we know, despite winning in a shutout against the Brewers yesterday, courtesy of a robbed grand slam by Robert in the first inning yesterday. I do think that the White Sox, of course, are still a laughingstock, but Brown's been fantastic. I have no reason to avoid taking them. And the fact that I see Bet365 listing the run line at -130, the fact that they're saving about $1.20 compared to the run line with the money line, I think is a phenomenal deal that you don't see that often for a road team. Give me the Astros -1.5.
Yeah, I love the Astros here. Hunter Brown, you mentioned, Cy Young candidate. He's been one of the best pitchers in the league so far. I think he's actually been better on the road. 3-0, 113 ERA, just 3 runs given up in 24 innings. To be honest, I think he'll really have a field day here against the White Sox. They're only hitting .210 at home this year, averaging around 3.5 runs per game. On the other side, Davis Martin, he hasn't been terrible at home. I just, the problem is trying to back the White Sox. I just don't trust their offense to get him any run support. They've lost 5 of his last 6 starts. They've been terrible in the last 10 games, 3-7 straight up. So I agree. I think Astros win big here. Maybe even alternate line, maybe 2.5. I think Astros win big here.
Yep, I can agree with you there. Moving on to the next game, the Mets against the Cardinals. Now, for this game, you have McGill pitching against Fetty. For the pricing, Mets are a pretty, once again, I'd say this line's intriguing because the Mets are -140, which you could argue is reasonable because McGill's been very good. On the other hand, the Cardinals are very good at home, but terrible on the road, and the Cardinals are at home in this game. So I find the line kind of interesting. Cardinals, though, +122. For the over-under, I see 8.5 or 8. McGill's been really good. 3-2, so not much run support, but he has a 1.74 ERA. Not going much distance, but hell, if you're good enough to go 5 of solid outings, then why would you complain that much? He's been a solid 5-inning guy, occasionally into the 6th. Bullpen, though, has been pretty good for the Mets, so it hasn't really mattered. But McGill's been good. Fedde has been pretty up and down. I'd say mostly down. A 1-3, 4.68 ERA. Last start, he got destroyed at home by the Brewers. In fact, the Cardinals have lost 5 straight starts for Fedde this season, so that's something to keep in mind. I'll go with the Mets. I was kind of hoping it'd be cheaper. I know the line on the Friday game was pretty cheap for the Mets. This one's a bit more expensive. Mets have not really been a great road team this season, but I think they are better than the Cardinals, and I do think McGill is better than Fedde. It is kind of tricky for this game because the price might seem a bit steep. I think I'll go with the Mets, but I'm wondering if I want to go run line or if I want to go with first 5 run line because I am skeptical on Fedde. I think McGill should go fine. I think I'll go Mets first 5 minus half a run.
Yeah, I tried to go the Mets first 5 with Kodai Senga the other day. Did not go well. I'm hoping the Mets can bounce back here on the road. Ever since our last pod, I said the Mets, they've gone on a 2-game losing streak. But I do think they have the pitching advantage here with Taylor McGill. Eric Fedde, not the biggest Eric Fedde fan, especially at home. He gives up a ton of hard contact. Batters hitting 260 off of him as well. Not to mention, you said it, Cardinals have lost his last 5 starts, and he just got shelled against the Brewers, giving up 7 runs, and Brewers aren't the best home hitting team. So worries me there. Cardinals, they have a bottom 10 bullpen as well. The Mets just swept them a few weeks back. I mean, I think it was maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So they might have their number. I do think the Mets are the best team. Minus 122. Not terrible. I like you, though. I did want a better number.
Yeah. Either way, moving on to the next game, you have the Guardians taking on the Blue Jays. By the way, for that game, I think I'll probably go with the under in that one. Mets offense has been kind of up and down lately, but I trust McGill.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals offense hasn't been that great. I'll go with the under for that one. Moving on to the Guardians against the Blue Jays. Now, for this game, you have the Guardians with Williams on the mound at around plus 120. You have Gausman pitching for Toronto, minus 145. The last time we saw Gausman, he fell down some stairs against the Yankees. But the point is, he has been having a pretty weird season. He was great to start. Last 2 starts, though, 8 2/3, 10 runs allowed, so he's been kind of falling apart. Williams has been also average, 5.14 ERA, tends to get a lot of run support, but he has given up at least 4 runs in 2 of his last 3 starts. So it is a pretty interesting pitching matchup here. The over-under in this game is set at about 8. I think 8's too low. Based on the current form of both pitchers, I understand Toronto and Cleveland can be very annoying to back offensively. But I do think based on Williams' recent form and Gausman falling off a cliff, in this case the stairs, I do think 8 is a little bit too low for a total. It's in a dome. There's really no weather issue involved. Give me the over in this game.
Yeah, I like Gavin Williams, and I think there are going to be opportunities in the season where we'll be able to back him, but not here, not on the road. He hasn't been good on the road this year. 5.52 ERA, 9 runs in 14 innings. He gives up the long ball, and he has almost more walks than strikeouts. That's never a good sign. Couldn't even make it to the 3rd inning versus the Twins in his last start. So I just have a hard time of him going well here against the Blue Jays. Blue Jays, much better team at home than on the road. They just took 2 of 3 from the Sox. So maybe things starting to go in the right direction for them. And I think Kevin Gausman has been pretty good at home for the Blue Jays. 2-0, 3.0 ERA. Batters only hitting 209 off of him. Kevin Gausman is just one of those pitchers where at home is where you really want to back him. On the road, I kind of would fade him. I made him a minus 140 favorite, so I do like the Blue Jays here at home.
Yeah, moving on to the next game. We'll do one more and then a break. We're going to go to the Padres and the Pirates game. For this game, you have Vasquez against Falter, and for the lines, we have nothing. So that's why I'm going to do this before the ad read, because I don't want to start off with no lines at all to start off the second portion of the game breakdowns. I mean, Falter's horrible. He's 1-3, 5.93 ERA. Vasquez also 1-3. His ERA is better, but he has been bad on the road. Been bad lately. Last 2 starts, 6 2/3, 9 runs. He was very good early to start the season, but I think we all knew deep down regression was in store, and we ended up seeing it from both players here. I don't think Falter's great. San Diego's the better offense. Vasquez, though, has not been very good. I don't know what the line's going to be. It is Pittsburgh. So probably not going to be north of 8.5 as a ceiling. It probably will be 8.5, if I had to guess. I'll go over in this game. I kind of just don't trust either pitcher. San Diego can go crazy and potentially score 6 runs by themselves. I'm not going to take Pittsburgh in this game, but I think the over is worth consideration because I don't trust Vasquez. I definitely don't trust Falter. So I ended up with the over.
Yeah, it's going to be raining tomorrow afternoon in Pittsburgh. It's a little drizzle, but yeah, I like the Padres here. I only made them a -150 favorite here. I agree. I think it's hard to trust Vasquez right now. Back-to-back tough starts for him, but this might be a good spot to kind of bounce back. Outside of his last 2 starts, he was really dealing, especially against poor hitting teams. And I think you could categorize the Pirates as one of those poor hitting teams. Only 222. They're batting off of righties. They're only scoring 3.8 runs per game at home. Meanwhile, the bats have kind of really woken up here these past few games for the Padres. They took 2 or 3 from the Giants. And honestly, I just think this has been a really tough stretch for the Pirates. They played the Dodgers, they played the Cubs, and now they have to play the Pirates. So I don't know. It's just hard for me to imagine that their struggles don't continue. So up to a -150, I do like the Padres.
Yeah, I can get behind that too. I mean, San Diego's the better team by a mile. The question is, will Pittsburgh show up for a game? I don't know, but I don't want to find out with Falter pitching. So I'll pass on that one. Before we get into any of the other games on the Saturday card, a reminder, they're brought to you by Edgewood, the first ever bank gamble for bettors. You can ensure that all your gambling transactions are approved, no usage fees, and no minimum balance. You can also earn cash rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up to Edgewood.bet. Promo code SGPN, deposit $25. Edgewood will match the deposit. Edgewood.bet, promo code SGPN. Plus, a reminder, it is Derby week at SGPN. I believe the Oaks is tonight and the Derby's tomorrow. So if you're a big horse guy, pretty fun weekend there. First leg of the Triple Crown taking place tomorrow. Make sure to get in on the action with the horse racing podcast that SGPN has, Notorious OTB, for all of your picks. Plus, get on the action for the most exciting 2 minutes in sports with NYR bets. Sign up today, boost your Derby bankroll with $25 free bets and a $200 deposit bonus with a promo code SGPN25. Join now to claim your $25 free bet and $200 deposit match bonus at nyrabets.com/SGPN25. We're also brought to you by MyBook.ag because they're the book in every sport. They have the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, they have MLB, they have UFC, you name it, but props in every game as well. You can also use it for a ton of locations. You can also use crypto for your Letting Fest payouts and use deposits. Head to MyBook.ag with the promo code SGPN for your 100% deposit match up to $1K. Terms and conditions apply. MyBook.ag, promo code SGPN. So, once again, promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the first couple games on the Saturday card. Time to keep it rolling here. Moving on to the Rockies and Giants game. For this one, you have Feltner against Hicks. 2 pitchers who have been really, really bad so far this season. Feltner has a 4.75 ERA. He's 0-2. Hicks 1-3, 6.12 ERA. Giants, though, -250 because they're against the Rockies. For Colorado, though, +205 for the over-under in this game. I see the line being set at about 8 for the run line in this game because you're not going to lay 250 with the Giants. You can find the -1.5 at -105 or -110. So once again, pretty interesting matchup here, solely because of the pricing. We saw the Rockies steal the first game of the series to win their second road game of the season. Congratulations. They are now an impressive 2-14 on the road. Hicks, though, has been a mess. 6.12 ERA, been bad at home as well. He was better last time out, though. 5 innings, 2 runs against the Rangers, but he had given up 5 earned in 3 straight before that. Feltner has not been good either. 4.75, though, is better, of course, than Hicks, but he was not very good 2 of his last 3 starts, giving up 5 runs in 2 of his last 3. Rockies have also lost 3 straight that he's pitched in. I think I like the over in this game. I know I'm backing a bad off Colorado, but I do think Hicks and Feltner have legitimate problems right now, and I don't trust either of them, not to mention the Rockies' bullpen. I think 8's too low. I get the ballpark environment. I understand it, but I do think this line feels pretty low for me for a total. I'll go with the over.
Yeah, it's either the team total over for the Giants or the over 8 in general at -106. My total came out to 8.3, but like you said, both pitchers really don't want to be putting your hard-earned money on. They've both been kind of underwhelming. 5 of Hicks's 6 starts have flown over this number. He gives up a ton of hard contact. Walks are high as well, so maybe look towards a walk prop for him. And I know the Rockies historically are bad this year, but they do hit better at Coors, so maybe they will muster up a few runs for themselves. Meanwhile, Ron Faulkner is another guy who just gives up a ton of hard contact. He's coming off a game where he gave up 5 runs to the Braves, fading both pitchers. It's going to be a windy night in the Bay Area, and the ball travels there. 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing out into center field as well, so that should help get us some runs in as well. So, yeah, over 8 for me as well.
Yeah, moving on to the next game, you have the Twins against the Red Sox. Now you have Ober against We Don't Know. We Don't Know, though, is favored at -115, as the Twins are -105. For the over-under in this game, I see the line being set at 9.5. Now, Ober has had a pretty weird season because he was really bad in his first outing. Since then, he's been absolutely phenomenal. In fact, he's allowed less than 2 earned runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's allowed less than 4 earned runs in 6 straight starts. He's been phenomenal, and I know Minnesota's not very good. I understand that you're looking at the Red Sox, who might be the better overall team because Minnesota is 4-13 on the road. Boston is 8-6 at home. But I don't know who's pitching for Boston because Buehler got injured, so they got to reshape the entire rotation now.
Scotty, I think it's Sean Newcomb.
Yeah, that is not a good sign. I will not lay with Sean Newcomb. So I'll go with the Twins' first 5 money line, maybe full game. Newcomb is just not very good. And Newcomb, we saw when he was younger with Atlanta, he had a lot of walk issues, doesn't go any distance at all. Boston's bullpen's not very good. I understand Boston might be the better team on paper. I can't back Newcomb or whoever Boston uses here. I got to go with, once again, Ober, who's been really good for about a month straight. So give me Ober in this one at a pretty good number.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I do think they've been better. But I do think as a team, the Red Sox are better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Newcomb. I'm going to fade Bailey Oper here and the Twins. Just they struggle on the road, 4-13 straight up. They just got swept by the Guardians. And not to mention, more of the cap was Twins can't hit lefties. They don't hit lefties all that well. And I get it. Sean Newcomb, by no means of the imagination, he's a good pitcher. But this might be a decent start for him. I'm not saying he's going to go and shove 7-8 innings scoreless, but I think this could be a better start than his past ones. And Red Sox, they also hit better at home versus righties. So I do think this might be a good spot for Newcomb and maybe some regression for Ober. Like you mentioned, he has been a little better this past month. So Red Sox money line would be the play here at home for me.
Yeah, moving on to the next game. You have the A's taking on the Marlins. You have Sears against Meyer for this one. For the actual pricing, the A's and the Marlins, I don't see any lines on this one.
Yeah, me either.
So there you go. Sears, though, has been good this season, 4-2, 2.94 ERA. Meyer's been good, too, 3.18 ERA. Been great at home, though, a 2.04 ERA. Was not good in his last start against the Mariners, though, as he gave up 5 runs in 4 innings. But it seems like he's alternating good and bad starts. So if you believe in that, Meyer's going to shove tomorrow, and you're looking at Sears, who's been good as well. I like the over in this game. I saw the A's play well against the Rangers over the last few days, mainly because, damn, the Rangers can't hit. The Marlins, though, aren't very good either. But I think both starting pitchers can actually go pretty well here in a pretty pitcher-friendly ballpark here in Miami. I'll go with the under in this game.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the total comes out to because I do like the under as well. My total came out to 7.8 if it is these two pitchers.
I was going to guess around 8, 7.5.
Yeah, so I like the under, maybe first 5 under. That's your boy, Max Meyer. What was the ticket you have for him?
Yeah, so Adam and I ended up taking him to win the Cy Young at like 200-1.
I hope you guys cash, man. That
to be honest, I don't think it's going to, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun bet. So yeah, I would like it. And to be honest, I can't back the Marlins, even though they might open up the favorite with Meyer at home. I just can't back them. They're not good right now. And meanwhile, the A's, I think we talked about it last pop. A's, they've been a pretty good team on the road this year. 11-6 straight up. They're 7-3 in their last 10.
They're over 500. I can't remember the last time they've been over 500 through 30 games.
They're a pretty good team. They're scrappy. They don't really have that much name power, but they're a scrappy team. I like Sears. I like Meyer as well. Like I think first 5 under in a like you said, very hitter friendly ballpark. I think we see a lower scoring game. And honestly, if the A's open up a +120 favorite or underdog, I think the A's are live here too.
Yeah, so I'm going to disagree with you slightly. I do think the A's will be favored in this game, just based on the recent form and based on how bad Miami's been lately. I mean, the A's are over 500, and Sears has been pretty good. I get that Meyer's been good too, but he was roughed up his last start. I would say A's probably minus 120. It should be close either way.
Yeah, it should be close, but look at the game we're about to talk to. Look how bad Aaron Nola's been, and they're favored here at home.
Yeah, but Nola also has a reputation. Like, he's been good in years past. Meyer's kind of this up-and-comer who most people never heard of, who's been solid this season.
That's fair. Yeah.
Some people are expecting Nola to figure it out.
Do you?
I might not be one of those people, but
Okay.
Nola's also had a very large sample size, which suggests that he is due for some positive, say, progression over the course of the season. Meyer, we're still waiting to see because he's still very young, but I think the A's should be favored in this game if I had to price it, but it should be a short number if I had to guess there. Moving on to the next game, going to look at the matchup between the Diamondbacks and the Phillies, as you mentioned before with Nola. For this one, Nola's pitching 0-5, a 5.4 ERA. For the Diamondbacks, you have Fod pitching 5-1, 2.78 ERA. Probably the best pitcher in the rotation this season. Gallen was very good against the Mets, but he's been very bad besides that. And you're looking at Erod, who's not been very good. Kelly's been fine, but Fod's been the best pitcher in this rotation so far. Nola, though, has just been an absolute mess in basically every outing he's had. But the Phillies are minus 125, the Diamondbacks are plus 105, and the over-under in this game is set at 9. I mean, I feel like I know where you're going with this one because Nola's been terrible every start, so why would I back him laying money? But I'll ask you because you can currently get Arizona at a pretty good price. If you want to find plus money, you can find Arizona at about plus 105.
Yeah, call me crazy, Scotty. I'm going to take the Phillies here minus 120.
This you bait and switched me.
Yeah, I bait and switched you. This might be a bad play, but I do like him. My numbers made him a minus 125 favorite. I know Nola hasn't been good for the Phillies, but look at his last start. And, you know, I think that might be a good sign. Like you said, people might be thinking he's going to turn it around. I might not be one of them, but I do think that maybe this is a better spot for him. He pitched really well on Sunday Night Baseball against a good hitting team in the Cubs last week. And their bullpen has looked better this past week. Not the best still, but, you know, a little better. And the Snakes are just hitting 230 on the road this year. Meanwhile, Phillies are a team you want to back at home, at least for me. They're hitting 276 at home. They slightly, I think it might be a little even, but I would actually take the Phillies bats better than the D-backs here. Should be a good game. I think the line makes sense. I agree, Brandon Pfaadt. It's been a nice surprise. I think he has been the best pitcher for the Snakes, but I'm going to take the Phillies here. I'm going to trust Aaron Nola figures it out.
Yeah, to be fair, they're also 11-5 at home. So they have been a good home team so far this season. Moving on to the Nationals and the Reds. So just as an update, by the way, I believe they were supposed to be playing already, but there is a delay. So I don't know how long the delay is going to be. I'm assuming they'll finish the game today, but if they don't, this might be a doubleheader. So just keep that in mind if there is some type of pitching change with these matchups. But you have Williams against Lodolo. Reds are minus 185. Nationals are plus 155. And the over-under in this game is about, trying to find it. I see 9 for the total. And if you do want to go for the run line in this game for the Reds, you can get Cincinnati minus 1.5 at plus 112. Now, Lodolo's been great this season, 3-2, 2.25 ERA. The Nationals, though, have Williams, who's been really bad, 1-3, 5.7 ERA. The Reds this season have been very up and down. We saw them get on a good run against the Marlins and the Rockies, which is expected. Despite losing the series to Miami, actually. They did win 5 in a row. Then they ended up losing doubleheader against the Cardinals, but got revenge, won 9-1 in the last game of that series. And now they have the game today, which is currently being delayed. The Nationals are kind of in the same boat, where both these teams I don't really trust, but they can be fun offensively. But I think Lodolo is a lot better than Williams, so I'll go with the Reds first 5 minus half a run. I don't want to bother with the bullpens in this game. I think Lodolo should have a lead, though, entering the 6th. I'll fade Williams, though, who does not have strikeout stuff, mainly a contact pitcher. Not a good combo in this ballpark. Give me the Reds, first 5 minus half a run. If that's too expensive, I don't mind plus money for the Reds full game minus 1.5.
Yeah, I'm on the same way. Give me Reds first 5. I'm not going to take them full game. I do think they're a little mispriced full game. So I'll get that number down. Maybe, I know FanDuel offers first 5 result. It's the same thing. They just have to be winning. But, excuse me. Sorry. Trevor Williams, like you mentioned, he's been bad on the road for the Nationals. 3+ runs given up in all 3 starts on the road, and the Nationals have lost all 3 of those games. Nick Lodolo is just a much better pitcher. I know the Reds the other day, I think maybe 2 days ago, they had that doubleheader. They laid a goose egg in both those games, but they did follow up it the next day, yesterday, 9 runs. So maybe the offense has gotten going again. So I think the momentum continues here, especially early on. So yeah, I would play the Reds first 5 as well.
Yeah, moving on to the next game. You have the Mariners taking on the Rangers. For this game, you have Castillo taking on Corbin. So for this matchup, Seattle's minus 135, Texas is plus 115. Castillo and Corbin have similar numbers, 3.62 ERA compared to 3.79. Corbin, we know, has been very good this season, at least for what we expected. Faced the A's back-to-back starts and 5 innings, 2 runs, 4 2/3, 2 runs. He's not given up, though, more than 4 in a single game this season. So a lot of people have lost a lot of money fading Patrick Corbin so far. As for Castillo, he's been fine. His road numbers are horrible, 8.68 ERA. I will point out that those are through 2 outings, 9 1/3, 17 hits allowed, 9 runs allowed. But he was really, really good against the Marlins last time out. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs. So after 2 really bad outings, or I'd say 1 really bad outing and 1 average performance, I guess, he was very good against the Marlins the next time out. I got to go Seattle here. I can't believe this team can actually hit. I'm shocked by it. This team's actually scoring runs. The Rangers, though, can't score to save their lives. So if you're asking me who I'm going to take here, Seattle's been the better team. And Corbin and Castillo, you could argue, are comparable. I think I have more faith in Castillo to go distance than Corbin. Because it seems like Texas knows we're getting away with something every time they use Corbin. So they're pulling him after 5 basically every time.
Yeah.
I just question this offense. It's just not very good right now. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm on Seattle here too. We're under 8.5. I think the 8.5 is a little too high. My total came out to 8, but I can't back the Rangers right now. You mentioned a little earlier in the show they just can't hit. They don't look good. I know their home record is serviceable, but they're
all good pitching, no good hitting.
No good hitting. 3-7 straight up in their last 10, and the Mariners are just a team that's just going in the opposite direction. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and they're a completely different team on the road than at home. They're hitting 266 on the road. They're averaging 5.5 runs per game on the road this season. And yeah, as good, or I want to say good, but as serviceable as Corbin has looked, this just might be a bad spot for him. So I'm going back to fading him. I know last pod you and I we backed him. Now I'm gonna go back to fading him. Mariners are just a better team.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. At the end of the day, I do question every single Rangers game, which is not a good sign, because I asked the same question for the Rockies and the White Sox. Can you score 4 runs? And I don't know the answer to that question, because usually it's a no for Texas lately. So that's why I can't back them in this spot. Moving on to the Cubs against the Brewers, which should be a fun series. Taillon's going up against Quintana. Damn, Quintana's been really good. A 4-0, 1.14 ERA. Taillon 1-1, 4.01 ERA. Minus 110 apiece for the teams for the over-under. And this one, I see the line being set at about 8.5. I like the Brewers' first 5. I feel like it's a common theme here. Some of these teams' bullpens I want nothing to do with. Milwaukee's bullpen I'm not really sold on. Quintana, though, has been incredible. Even dating back to his playoff run with the Mets last year, he's been great for a while. And even as a Mets fan, I'm sure you can agree with it. Quintana was very good for you guys in those playoff runs, and he's been great in Milwaukee. So I'll take the Brewers' first 5. Taillon, I'm not a guy that I'm a fan of. Even as a Yankees fan, never been wowed by him for a while. And I do think Quintana right now is the better pitcher. I get Chicago is the better offense. They've been very good at the comeback role, coming back from behind. So I'll avoid that entirely. Just give me Quintana to outpitch Taillon at a cheap price.
Not gonna lie, I low-key miss Jose Quintana on our team.
He was great for you guys. He was an absolute grinder in that playoff run last year.
I like the Brewers here. I'm not gonna lie, minus 110. They've been great at home, 9-4 straight up. And honestly, it's nice. I really wanted to keep them, but I knew we weren't going to. But it is nice to see how good Jose Quintana has been for the Brewers. Only 3 runs given up in 23 innings, and the Brewers have won all 4 of his starts. They give him run support. Bullpen's an issue a little bit. Walks can be an issue as well. 3+ walks, so maybe look towards a walk prop. But this is also a fade on Jameson Taillon, who he struggled for the Cubs on the road. I'm not the biggest Jameson Taillon fan as well. So I like the Brewers here. I like your first 5 angle as well, but I think they should take care of business at home.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, third to last game, you have the Royals against the Orioles in a series that probably no one's going to watch unless you have money on it. Baltimore's minus 120. Royals are even money. You have Sagano against Bubic. Bubic 2.25 ERA. Sagano's been pretty good. He's actually the only decent pitcher on this entire Orioles rotation. But you have Sagano, who is 3-1, 3 flat ERA. For the over/under in this game, I see the line being set at 9 or 8.5. Maybe it's just going to be the entire series for me. I just don't want to lay with Baltimore. I don't really like taking Kansas City either, but I think for the sake of this series, I'll take whoever the dog is in each game because I don't trust either team. So give me Kansas City at even money.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under 9 here at
Okay.
minus 115. Two solid pitchers, I think, and you're right. Sagano, he's been the best pitcher. That's not saying much here for this pitching staff. Royals stink at scoring runs on the road. 3.06 runs per game on the road. I think they might be the hottest team in baseball, though. They're 9-1 in their last 10. It might be hard to fade them. So I agree with your logic and strategy. Hey, just take anybody who's getting plus money in this series. And Orioles, they're 3-7. Their last 10. They actually did take 2 or 3 from the Yankees, which was surprising.
The Yankees did use Carrasco for one of those games, which is basically
fair.
a freebie. But yeah.
Yeah, fair. And Chris Bubic, he's already faced this Orioles team, and he dominated them. The game finished with just 5 runs, 4-1, and they got the win. Both teams are under, especially the Royals. They're 10-5-1 towards the under on the road, and Orioles are 8-2 towards the under their last 10 and 4 of their last 5. So I think we see a low-scoring game here. 2 decent pitchers going at it.
Yeah, moving on to the second to last game, Dodgers against the Braves. For this one, you have Sasaki pitching against Schwellenbach. Now, Schwellenbach's record's not great. 1-2, he does have a 2.87 ERA. Sasaki's been having a very weird rookie season. I'll put it that way. On the road, he's been good, 2.77 ERA. However, he has been going a bit more distance recently. He has gone at least 5 innings in 3 straight. Went 5 2/3, gave up 3 runs against the Pirates last time out. They did win that game. Point is, though, Sasaki's starting to look better. I don't think it looks great, but compared to where he was about a month and a half ago, it's definitely a night and day difference. For Atlanta, Schwellenbach's been pitching pretty well. His ERA at home's incredible, 1.29 ERA in 3 home starts. Also a ton of distance. He's gone 21 innings in those 3 starts. But against Arizona last outing, not very good. Gave up 4 runs, 3 earned. He has given up at least 3 runs in 3 straight. So I do recognize that he has been being, I'd say, a bit underwhelming recently. Over under those at 8.5 or 9. Dodgers, though, are once again a favorite in this game, as they always are, but they're minus 115. Pretty close in the books. I'm kind of torn here because I don't really trust either pitcher right now, but based on the form, I think I have to trust the Dodgers at a cheap number, but I don't really trust Sasaki at all. I'm pretty torn here, to be honest, but I'll go with the Dodgers if I had to pick.
Yeah, and on FanDuel, you could get the Dodgers at minus 104.
That's just a very good price.
I mean, how can you? I know they're on the road, but it's the Dodgers at the end of the day. My numbers did make them a minus 115 favorite. I agree. I also like the under 9. I agree. I thought this game was one of the tougher ones to handicap just because I have mixed feelings on both pitchers. I agree. Sasaki has kind of been up and down this season, but he has looked better recently. And Schwellenbach, he's great at home, but he kind of just got shelled and really don't trust him either. In Atlanta, they are an under team to begin with. Most of their numbers are skewed from how bad they were in the beginning of the year, but I don't know. The one thing that kept me off the under now, though, is how good this offense has kind of looked for the Dodgers. Granted, they just played the Miami Marlins, but they put up 15 runs, 12 runs, 7 runs, 9 runs. They've been playing cans, but still, this offense has had momentum. So 104 is just tough to pass on. I agree. I think you got to come down on the Dodgers here.
Yeah, once again, I'm not thrilled about it, but I do think for that price, the Dodgers should be a bigger favorite. Moving on to the last game, you have the Tigers against the Angels. Tigers, though, 20-12. Pretty good team so far. The Angels, though, it was fun while it lasted. They're 12-18 at the moment. You have Hendricks pitching against Flaherty. Flaherty's 1-3, 3.34 ERA. Hendricks 0-3, 6.65 ERA. I can't believe he's still in a rotation as a separate point. For the over-under in this game, I see 8.5. And for the Tigers run line, if you want to get bold with it, Tigers you can get at minus 110 on the run line. I really like this Detroit team. Baez, actually a decent center fielder. Who would have thought? But you're looking at what this team's been doing. They're building off of last year's momentum. They won a series last year. They were I believe it was one game away from beating the Guardians, and they ended up losing in the second round of the playoffs. But they've been building on it. They have some young talent that's kind of blossomed. Baez actually looks pretty good at the moment. I don't know what's happening there. But you're looking at what the once again Tigers are doing. They look good right now. And the Angels, Trout got injured again. What else is new? They've been awful since basically the first 3 weeks of the season. They were hitting a bunch of home runs earlier in the year, and that was kind of carrying the entire offense. They've been a mess ever since. The team's just not very good, which we knew going in. I will go with the Tigers here, -1.5, because I actually like this team. And I definitely don't like the Angels right now. So I'll go with the Tigers, not to mention Hendricks being terrible, which is a bonus for me. Give me Detroit -1.5.
Yeah, I really wish we were getting plus money here on the run line, because I would agree. Maybe first 5 -1/2, we could get some plus money, but I would agree. And I think ever since we started this pod about 4 years ago, we've kind of been seeing this trend of the Tigers getting better every year. I think even when Noah was on a couple years ago, he kind of put us on like, hey, this team is going to be good in a few years, and they are. Getting back Jack Flaherty helped.
For the record, that was inside information, because he, of course, is from,
he lives there.
There you go.
Hendricks is awful. He's just terrible. I'm surprised he still has a spot on this roster. And they fooled us for 2 weeks. I remember being on a pod with you, and we were like, hey, +125 for the Angels. They've kind of been a pleasant surprise. That lasted for 2 weeks. They stink. They're 2-8 straight up in their last 10. And this Tiger team is 12-3 as a favorite this year. So they're good. I feel bad for Trout. He's one of the best players I've ever seen. And it's just unfortunate that he won't suck up his pride and just leave for a contender. But I like the Tigers here. I just don't know why you would fade him at this point.
This might sound like a dumb question, but I'll ask because you brought up Trout. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? I think he's going to definitely get in.
He's going to get in, but I don't think he's a first ballot.
I don't know. I feel like based on the talent, it's undeniable, but he's missed so many games, and he's never won a playoff series in his entire life. Now, I understand that baseball is different where I'd say actually the overall supporting cast around you matters, and that's why Ohtani never won anything, and then he won a World Series with the Dodgers. So a lot of it comes down to support. You can't rely on one guy to fully carry you to a title. But I do think voters will be extremely mean about it, and I think they're going to hold it against him.
Yeah, baseball writers are petty.
Very.
They're definitely going to hold him out just because of, he's injury prone. There's just no two ways about it. His talent alone should just get him into the Hall of Fame.
I agree with you. I think that he's basically the modern-day version of Ken Griffey Jr., but the problem is he's had so many injuries that you have to at least factor it in. Because Trout right now has 387 home runs. He has less than 1,000 RBIs. He's a career 297 hitter, 408 on base. We know those numbers are going to be great anyway. And we know that he was an elite defensive outfielder. But
does he have a Gold Glove?
I think he has a couple. Okay. But that's why I'm asking, because people always talk about the prime versus longevity argument. I mean, Andrew Jones isn't in the Hall of Fame, and he definitely should be. But you know what I'm trying to say. I don't think he's going to be a first ballot guy. And
I don't either. Yeah, which is unfortunate. He's a Jersey guy, kind of like Mike Trout. He does a lot for the community.
I think we all do. We felt bad for him because it's like, oh, you're just on this crappy team in purgatory your entire career, but you're obviously a monster.
I guess my question to you is, why don't you think he kind of just is like, you know what, enough is enough? Ohtani kind of washed his hands, was like, listen, I got to get out of here and kind of win something in my career. Why don't you think Trout takes that route?
It's a lot of money the Angels gave him.
But they stink.
Correct. Well, the point is he was hoping when he signed there that, maybe we'll figure something out. It didn't work out, but, they tried. And now Trout's, to be honest, damaged goods. I'm wondering what he's worth at this point, which is depressing to think about.
It's sad. That's sad to even bring up.
I have to bring it up, though.
No, I know.
If you're talking about, where he should go, if the Angels are going to pay him more than other teams, he might just like California life, and he might just enjoy his time there with his family. But I agree. It's a shame. Because kind of like, at least Griffey had some moments. He had the 95 series against the Yankees. He had some moments there, even though he never won a title either. I mean, Trout's been in the playoffs for 5 games?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. His entire career, and he's the best player of this generation, basically. So it sucks. But I think that he will be a very, I'd say, controversial person for the first ballot of his Hall of Fame candidacy. He's going to get in. at some point. No
If
doubt in
you
my
were
mind.
to guess, would it be second or third ballot?
Second. I'd say second. I think that people will hold it against him for the games that he missed. You also need 75% plus to get in. It's a pretty high percentage for a guy that missed a ton of games.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he will get the 400 home runs at some point.
Yeah.
In theory, there's a chance that he doesn't. In theory, if this is the last hurrah, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
He has less than 1,000 RBIs. Like, there was a lot of conversations to be had against Trout with the longevity. I don't want to compare him to DeGrom. Similar type of argument with regard to the dominance against the actual durability.
DeGrom's a Hall of Famer, though.
That's a hell of a conversation.
He's a champion, though.
Correct. Even though he got an A in the group project, not doing anything. But yes.
It doesn't matter. He's
saying he technically did win with the Rangers, but you can make a serious argument if I know that once again he was the best pitcher in baseball for a couple years there. If Johan's not in and Felix is not in, you have a conversation about DeGrom. I'm not sure DeGrom's going to get in.
Really?
I'm not sure he's going to. Once again, Johan.
I'm biased.
I mean, you should be biased towards Johan too.
No, I am.
He threw the first no-hitter
at Citi Field. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm putting quotes around it because it wasn't actually a no-hitter, but still. The point is, Johan dominated the AL with the Twins.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of injuries. He's not in. Felix was the best pitcher, one of the best pitchers in the league. He had a perfect game. He's not in.
I remember when they used to call him King Felix.
Yeah, they did because Seattle had nothing else to root for besides him. But I feel like, once again, if those two guys are probably not going to get in, DeGrom really might not get in. I think people are going to have a hard time accepting that reality, but that's going to be a very controversial point. I think DeGrom's more controversial than Trout. But I don't think DeGrom's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame.
How did this topic get to be so depressing with two generational talents?
Because we're talking about guys that have injury issues, and you're looking at the upside. But I got to bring it up.
Yeah,
we know the voters look for every reason not to vote people in. DeGrom, I think, is not really going to get in. I'm going to make you even more depressed.
Oh no!
For the Mets, I mean, you could argue David Wright was on pace to be a surefire Hall of Famer. He's not even close.
No,
injury has just robbed him of his prime. So I feel like DeGrom's in the same boat, and you could argue Trout at least has a sample there. It's a very short prime because he was injured for a large portion of it. So
just imagine what could have been.
Correct. That's the problem, is that you kind of have a what-if scenario. But if Andrew Jones still isn't getting in, I don't know how Trout's going to get in this quickly. That's kind of my counterpoint. Andrew Jones should be a Hall of Famer, by the way. I think that's an insane omission at this point in time. But anyway, I wanted to mention that. Fun little segue since we made some good time on the show. Anyway, though, that's going to wrap it up for all the games on the actual card. Let us know down below, by the way, in the comment section, if you think Trout and DeGrom are both going to be in the Hall of Fame. And if you do, let us know which ballot, first ballot or not first ballot. I say Trout, yes, not first ballot. I think DeGrom's a no. I think DeGrom's going to be a no. And it's going to suck because we all watched him dominate when he was healthy with the Mets and beyond. I don't think the voters are going to give it to him. But you can let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree. And for the record, Dylan, you're going yes to both?
I agree that
knowing the voters, though, I just feel like they're going to hold it against those two guys.
Yeah, no, they're petty. They're literally the worst. The baseball writers. I want to say DeGrom is a Hall of Famer, but it wouldn't. To be honest,
the resume is just not going to stack up.
Yeah, to be honest, the bias aside, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get it. Now Trout
will get in.
He will get in, but I don't think he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's how I feel. But anyway, that's going to do it for all the games on the Saturday card. Now it's time for the Lock and Dog picks. Before we get into that, though, a reminder that we are brought to you by Fantasy because they can play their new game mode. They have the game called the Ladders. Win up to 500 times your money. I'm sure CJ is thrilled that they have ladders now on Underdog. But a reminder that you can also use the promo code MLB SGPN when you sign up for your new account to claim a special pick and a first-time deposit offer up to 1K bonus cash on the fantasy promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, because they're the home of the picks and props. So they're also available for the NBA playoffs in the MLB prop market. You also use your own model if you want to build one from scratch. They have a 7-day free trial if you want to try it out for free. But if you want to actually sign up for Rhythm, they have two great discount codes. One is a monthly deal. One is an annual deal. Monthly deal, 25% off each month with promo code SGPN25. 50% off the annual deal with promo code SGPN50. That's Rhythm, RATHMN, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. And a reminder, get in on the 7-day free trial by using the link sportsgamepodcast.com/RATHMN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through all the games on the Saturday card. Now it's time for the lock and dog plays. Dylan, I'll let you go first. What's going to be your lock and dog for the show?
Scott, it is so impressive how fast you read those ad reads.
Well, the problem is I read them too fast, but whatever. It's fun. Everyone fast forwards the ad reads anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's fun.
No, I think you're like a
That's why we do timestamps. People can skip past it if they want to listen to it.
Shout out to timestamps. Yeah, for my lock, I'll start with my lock. I'm going to take the Mariners here. I'm going to completely fade Patrick Corbin and the Rangers. They're not in good form right now. They can't hit. And I think Luis Castillo has been really good. And Mariners on the road there, I don't know what it is. They hit 266 on the road. They're averaging around 5.5 runs per game. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Mariners here as my lock on the road. I didn't give out a lot of plus money today, which is kind of boring. Do you have the odds for me? Do you know what the Mets -1.5 would be? Or actually the Astros?
Astros is not plus money.
No.
The Mets, though, I can find on the run line +115.
Yeah, why not? Let's take the Mets here. We'll fade Eric Fetty on the road for the Mets. Hopefully they could bounce back. I like Tyler McGill here in this spot, and I think the Mets could win there. We already got a sweep off of them, so let's go for 5 in a row.
Yeah, so for my lock, I actually am going to go with Houston. I'll go with Houston -1.5. I love Brown. I think Brown's been tremendous all season, and I do think Houston is obviously better than the White Sox. White Sox had a good game against the Brewers in the finale of that series. That's one game. This team stinks. Give me Houston -1.5 at around, sorry, just trying to find the best price available for me. I see -130, which I think is a great deal. I'll take that as my lock. For my dog, I am going to go with the Brewers' first 5 -0.5 a run. Give me Quintana to pitch well in this one. He's been great. You mentioned he's given up 3 runs all year, basically. Tyone, we both don't like, but I do think the Brewers might blow the game late. But early, I like Quintana. Give me the Brewers' first 5 -0.5 a run as my dog. I don't see a price on that, unfortunately, but of course, the first 5 run lines get posted later on in the day. It's -110 a piece, though, for the money line, so it's guaranteed to be plus money for this game. Just not sure how big of a plus money price I'm going to get. Trying to see quickly if I can find the line posted somewhere. I highly doubt it, but I can check. I actually did find it. Brewers first 5 -0.5 a run, +136. So that'll be my dog for the show. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I'll be back on the NBA show, actually, in about 5 minutes. I have an NBA show to do with Lonte. For baseball, I'll be back on Sunday with Lonte as well. Dylan, let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can find me over on X at Rock with 2Ks24. And Scott, I don't know if you're a fight fan, but we got a huge weekend of fights. Actually, right here in Times Square.
Well, do you think that this is the big weekend for fights, or is it next week with Muhammad fighting?
As people don't like Bilal Muhammad.
You have to remember the name, even though
I remember that.
Even though security guard had no idea who he was.
I'm a huge Bilal fan, but people don't like him because of how boring he is. But no, you got Canelo fighting, you got Inoue fighting on
Sanhagen Figueiredo is a must-watch fight for me. That's going to be tremendous.
Oh, it's going to be great.
The Bo Nickel fight, though, against Ritter, I think is a joke. But the point is, at least the main event should be very good.
Yeah, and I'm glad the UFC is going out of the Apex, and they're actually going to, even though it is Des Moines, Iowa. But yeah, should be a fun weekend.
Where were they again? St. Louis, I think?
No, that was last weekend. They are in Des Moines, Iowa.
No, I'm saying last week they were in St. Louis, though, I think.
Yeah.
So they're doing their, I guess, Midwest tour, if you want to call it that. But either way, they're branching out a bit. Should be a fun title. Should be a fun main event. Sanhagen's a lot of fun. That should be good. So is Figueiredo. But I'm still looking forward to seeing the title fights in about a week and a half for the Muhammad fight against Delana, right? He's fighting Delana?
Yeah, Jack Della Maddalena.
Yeah, so it should be fun. But either way, anyway, until next time.